Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Success Mentorship Call number 125. I want to welcome everyone to the call and remind everyone that our message today and all the messages that we give in our Success Mentorship calls are based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And you should get yours at www.12uls.com. It's also available on Amazon and most online websites. Today, our topic is Success Mentorship Call number 125. And the topic is, how big is your dream? How big is your dream? And I'd like to begin with a quote from Edgar Allan Poe, one of my favorite writers. And he said, "Those who dream by day are cognizant," in other words, they are aware of many things which escape those who dream only by night. Those who dream by day are much more aware than those who dream by night. And so this idea, this dream process, this process of creating the life based on the dreams that you have, the dreams that your desires. I'll say creating a life by design. Okay? How is this process? How do you choose your dreams? How do you dream big dreams? What's the difference between big dreams and small dreams? This dream process is really a growth process. In other words, I like to think of what we call the plateau theory. You say, well, what is that, Dr. Harris? Well, the plateau theory basically says that we live our lives in stages, in plateaus. And so if we, for example, we achieve a certain level of life, for example, today in your life, you are experiencing certain things in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your habits, in your relationships. In other words, your present reality. But something happens in that present reality where you're not happy. You're discontented. And then as a result of that discontent, you desire change. You desire something different. And that thing that you desire is your dream, your goal, we'll call it for the moment. And this tension that exists between your desired outcome, your goal, and your present condition, this creates a tension, a stress that must be overcome. When it is overcome, you create a new reality. It's like the birthing process. You create a new reality, and in that new reality, you can be happy or unhappy, but that is your new reality. And within that new reality, and I know many of us experience this, we'll achieve something, we're really happy about it. And after a year or two or a certain amount of time, it's like, man, is this all there is? Is there more to it than this? And so as a result, you make a change. You become unhappy, you create a new vision, and you start the process all over. And so this idea of like a reality, a discontent, desire, growth, new reality is the plateau process for life. So our lives literally move to their ultimate destination through this plateau process. So the question, of course, arises, suppose a person does not get discontented. Suppose they're happy where they are. You know, many people get to a point in life where they become, and boy, this is probably the worst word in the universe, where they become complacent, where they become satisfied with whatever their condition is right now. And so for all of our listeners, are you satisfied with where you are right now? Most of us not. Most of us say, man, I know there's more to this. I know that I need to move in that direction. I just may or may not, be so inclined. When we're in a particular plateau, we can experience, and especially when we become complacent with it, we can experience a level of joy that we accept, or a level of pain that we accept. We're gonna experience something. There's no way to get out of the game of life. The game of life is played with two things, really: goals and process. Anytime you're in a game, there's got to be what the concept of winning, what the goal concept is, and then there has to be a system of rules to help you get there. And so in the game of life, when we get to a certain level, a certain reality, we can accept it or we can move on. So I guess the question arises, why do some people accept it? Let's phrase it more positively. Why do some people accept small dreams? Why do some people accept complacency and are stuck where they are? Well, there are really three reasons that people stay stuck. Number one, obstacles. Very often we talk about your dream is no bigger than the obstacles you permit to stop you. I'm an entrepreneur, and very often I meet people who say, "Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to change my life." And I'll say to them, "Great, I'm doing a meeting, I'm doing a session. Why don't you come over next Saturday morning?" And then that Saturday morning it comes and they don't show up. So what happened? So, "Oh man, it was cold, it was rainy, and when I thought about it, it was too far to drive, and I got up late." So what are they saying? They're really saying that they're happy with where they are, although they may say, "I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to change my life, I want to create wealth, money, etc." But in reality, they have let the obstacle, the weather, the distance, their physical appearance, their educational level, whatever obstacle you permit to stop you, then puts limitations on your dreams. Second reason people dream small dreams and get stuck is they have no faith. We call it doubt. No faith in themselves, no faith in the process. So think about this. You're in a particular situation, you're on a plateau, and that plateau is such that there's not enough money, the people don't respect you, there's no joy. But then inside, if you don't have the faith that you have the ability to change that, you'll stay stuck. Inside, if you don't have faith in the process, in other words, we were not created to suffer and to live a life of limitation, but we were created to prosper and live beautiful, empowering lives. And so if we let doubt that we can do it, doubt that the process works for us, we'll stay stuck. The third reason that people dream small dreams and stay stuck is no vision. There's a great spiritual passage and it says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Where you have no vision, you fail. So now what does failure mean in this situation? Where you have no vision, you stay stuck where you are. Now, that may not be a bad thing when you look at it from the surface, but everything you do is a choice. So when you choose to stay stuck where you are, then you get all the results of being stuck where you are. So every moment that you live in life is a seed for the next moment. So the choices are non-choices. Now let me deal with that for a minute. There's no such thing as a non-choice. What do I mean? In other words, when you are confronted with your condition, your particular plateau, and you're not happy with it, if you choose to do nothing, if you do nothing, that is a choice. And so as a result, you experience the results of that choice. It's almost like we live our lives on the river of time. When we choose not to row the boat, when we choose not to set the sail, when we choose not to turn on the engine, the boat still moves. But instead of moving in accord with your dreams, with your goals, your desires, it moves in accord with the river. Everybody follow me on that? So whatever you do creates results. We may or may not make a conscious choice, but we always live with the consequences of that action. Whether we chose to row, chose to put up our sails, chose to turn on our engines so that we can move our ship, the boat that is our body, the boat that is our plateau, our experience of life in a particular direction. That if we don't, the river takes us wherever it wants us to go. If that is the case, then how do you dream big dreams? How do you dream dreams of things that never were? Now, that's a profound statement, folks. How do you dream of things that never were? There's a great passage, and it says, how big is your dream? How big is your dream? Well, your dream is a measure of your mind. The game of life is played on the field of your mind, the field between your two ears. And so if we want to have big dreams, then we must expand our minds. So when we say the foundation for dreams is the awareness of our ability to see beyond ourselves. To dream big dreams requires the awareness and the ability to see beyond our present reality to the reality of our dreams. Albert Einstein was very clear on this. He said, imagination is more powerful than anything because imagination is not limited by facts. It's not limited by history. It is completely free, unfettered. And so if we want to dream big dreams, then we have to let our imagination and our awareness expand. The second key to dreaming big dreams is that we have to follow the process. You see, the process is the process. The universe is composed of order, energy, vibrations, order. And so things happen in accord with certain rules. In our book, the 12 Universal Laws of Success, we talk about the universal laws that help people manifest the life that they want to live. Robert Allen, one of the early possibility thinkers and possibility writers, Robert Allen said, dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. He goes on to say, your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. Now let me unpack that for a moment. What Robert Allen is really is saying that when you, whatever you dream, no matter how incredibly outrageous it may be, you will become. And that vision that you have of yourself is the vision of what you shall become in the future. And your ideal is really the manifestation of your purpose. In other words, we must know that we were created for a purpose on this earth. And so the ideal is the creation of that purpose and the manifestation of that purpose in our lives. So when you dream lofty dreams, when you dream big dreams, it means that you see beyond that which is to what can be. Wow. You know, folks, this idea of dreams, of seeing that which never was as though it is. You know, there's that beautiful phrase that he speaks of things that are not as though they were. You dream of things that are not as though they are. So when you dream bigger, you innovate bigger. Let's look at some of the little pieces you need to put that together. Your awareness is impacted by your imagination. Your imagination is a great source of awareness, but it's also a source of possibility. So when Einstein said the imagination is completely unfettered, that means that anything that your mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. There is no dream that you can have that you cannot manifest. When we think about the Wright brothers, for example, they dreamed of flying. The nature of this process of awareness, imagination, is modified by exposure. So that the more that you're exposed to, the more you see, the more you can be. So when the Wright brothers thought about flying, they didn't look at the old paradigms like, how can a man grow wings? But they looked at the fact that birds were able to fly above the ground, and they were able to study and say, well, how do they fly? Well, the wind keeps them up. The wind supports them. Our planes fly because the weight of the plane is balanced by the force of the wind pushing up on it, and that then neutralizes the effect of gravity, and the plane flies. So once they had that vision in their mind, if they had focused on the fact that they had no ability to grow wings, we would not have airplanes. But they said, what can I do now based on my awareness? I'm aware, they're bicycle makers, the mechanics. I'm aware of this reality. So how can I use this reality to create this vision that I have in my mind? So for us, we already have everything we need to get everything we want. So often we shortchange ourselves by thinking what we don't have rather than focusing on what we do have. So when we have a dream and a desire to manifest that dream, the next key is we have to have focus. Focus takes the energy of our dream and puts it in a particular direction towards a goal. And the goals are the stair steps to manifest our dreams. Many times when we have a goal, we'll focus on the past. We'll focus on the mistakes of the past. Sometimes we'll have a big dream and we'll even focus on reality, what we perceive as reality. In other words, just because something has never been done doesn't mean it's impossible. But sometimes in our limitation thinking, we'll say, well, it's never been done before, so it must be impossible, because if it were possible, someone would have done it. But the essence of this plateau growth process is that no one went up those steps. And if you're having that dream in your mind, that means you're on this plateau. And all you have to do now is use your imagination, the power of your desire, and then focus on the thing that you want. So what is the process? Let's talk about this now. How do you dream big dreams? And it's a practice process, folks. One of the amazing things is that it takes place on a daily, really a moment-to-moment reality. In other words, when we have an idea, so often we'll discount the idea. I guarantee you that everyone who is on the internet or on our call has had ideas that you just forgot about. And have you noticed that when an idea comes to you, if you don't do something, it's gone? And so step one towards dreaming big dreams is to make a decision to pay attention. Make a decision based on clarity. Make a decision on what you really want. Until you make a decision, you really can't manifest your dreams. So make a decision of what you really want. And when we say make a decision, we mean like a concise, clear decision on what you really want. And then step two is to take that decision that you've made to create this particular outcome and write it down. And I mean, when I say write it down in great detail. When we talk about the promised land, you remember the spiritual principle says, walk the width and breadth of the promised land. That means look at each and every aspect of it. And so when you have a dream, you decide to pursue that dream, then look at each and every aspect of it, how it feels, how it smells, how it moves, how it tastes, how it's going to make you feel. That once you begin to write it down, you made that decision, you begin to write it down, something happens. It said in the beginning is the word. When you write it down, you are literally crystallizing the word. And so you have taken a vision, a dream that you had in your mind, and you've put it down on paper in such a specific fashion that it titillates, it activates your very molecules, the cells that make up your body. We are vibration. All that we are is vibration. Every aspect of our being is vibration. Life is a vibration. Death is a vibration. Transformation is a vibration. And so the moment we make that decision and write it down, we begin to create a vibration of clarity. That once we've created that vibration of clarity, the third step is to read your goal at least 3 times a day. Remember the principle. In the beginning was the word. And so when you read your goal at least 3 times a day, you're really like burning the words into your consciousness and impacting your level of vibration. You know, when you want to memorize something, think about this. You read it over one time, you don't remember all the words. You read it over a second time. When you are learning a script or learning a poem, you read it over until the words are burned into your mind so that you can recite them. I think of Thanatopsis. You know, I have recited it so many times, and there was there's one phrase, you know, that says, so live. And it continues from that point. So live that when that time comes for you to join the innumerable caravan that moves to that mysterious realm where each shall take his chamber in the silent halls of death, thou go not like the quarry slave, scourged to his dungeon, but renewed and soothed as one who wraps the drapery about him and lies down to pleasant dreams. So now, how do you remember? You have created in your mind a pattern of thought. And so your dream, just as I can recite that, and somewhat imperfectly, okay? But just as I can recite that, can you imagine reciting the dream that you have, the thing that you want to be doing, have? So just as I can recall it, that dream will be at the front of your mind, but now you're doing it 3 or 4 times a day. That creates the vibration that then draws into your space that which you're seeking. Step 4, to see yourself as though you had already achieved it. Every success book tells you this. See yourself as though you had already achieved it. When you can visualize the outcome that you're seeking in the way that you want to see it, you have literally created the vibration now that begins to attract everything that you need into your space with no judgment as to whether it's impossible, because possible or impossible is based simply on your level of consciousness at a particular time. You know, there came a time when they were actually considering closing the patent offices because those in control thought that everything possible had been invented. We're talking in the late 1800s. Okay. So this thought of seeing it as though it had already been achieved is now creating the vibration of reality. And so when you see it as though it has been achieved and you create the vibration of reality, you create that E equals MC squared. Energy equals manifestation times the speed of light squared. So as you increase that energy, that vibration, based on what you're seeing and what you're feeling, the speed of light dividing into it, the manifestation takes place with more impact and more power. Step 5. You must share your dream. You see, there are so many principles. We talk about the game of life, the mastermind principle. And the principle says that when 2 or more are gathered on one accord, I am among them. The I am is the making power, that power by which 1 + 1 is more than 2. And when we share the dream, now, I must caution you that when we are sharing big dreams, you have to share it with other big dreamers. When you share your dreams with people who don't have the awareness to understand what you're talking about, they can only respond based on their level of consciousness. You're on plateau 8 and they're on plateau 2, and you're trying to have them understand your dream from a plateau 8 to a person on a plateau 2. Can't happen. And as a result, they'll undermine your dream. They'll poo-poo your dreams. So when you begin to dream big things, you must now begin to surround yourself with people who have a vibration that's congruent with the level of dreams that you're having. There's that great passage and says, don't cast your pearls to the swine. In other words, your pearls are your dreams, those beautiful ideas you have. Don't share them with people who don't have an understanding of it. And then finally, the 6th step is to keep going and growing. When we understand the plateau process, that we ascend to higher and higher levels of consciousness by first understanding the plateau on which of our present existence, by being acutely aware of all aspects of that present existence, and by permitting ourselves to feel the incompletion of that present existence, which then creates a hunger for change. And then in that hunger for change, you begin to see a new vision. And as you see that new vision, you begin to grow into it. And so all the obstacles that you encounter, all the failures that you encounter are just to give you the power to manifest on that next level. It's almost like we have to prime the pump. If we don't put in the time of overcoming the obstacles, we never develop the strength and the power to move on to the greatness that we have as our destiny. So the size of the dream creates the vibration that attracts the manifestation of the dream into your life experience. And as you continue along the process, you know, each level, each plateau that you find yourself, you get a greater exposure and a greater awareness, which then feeds you and takes you to the next level. The greater your awareness, the greater your exposure, the more powerful it is, the more powerful your ability to move on to the next level. So folks, this morning, I would like for each and every one of you to sit back and dust off those old dreams again. Dust off those big dreams, those dreams you had before you let life try to suck the life out of them. Those dreams you had before you shared them with somebody who was critical and who criticized you and made you retreat. To dust off those dreams, to be still and know that there's great work to do. So many of us on this path of enlightenment, we all get, I guess, doubtful. We all are discouraged at some point. But I pose a question to you, and it says this: I wouldn't be at the point I am now if there were not great work to do. In other words, to ask yourself that time and say, sometimes when you're at a crossroads of life and things don't look like the way you think they should, you say, well, I know that I was put here for great work. So everything that has happened to me, every condition, positive, negative, every experience, every person I've encountered has been for the purpose of preparing me for this next plateau. So let me now just increase my awareness of that purpose and my consciousness of that next plateau so that I can then generate the energy, the vibration necessary to bring it about. So folks, wow, dream big dreams. Use those tools to make a decision to dream a big dream and to go for it. To write that dream down in great detail, sensory fashion. To read that dream written down aloud 3 or more times a day. Read it every hour. To see yourself as though you had already achieved that big dream. To share that dream with people who can help you, who are on a commensurate vibration level that can change you. And then to keep going and growing. I'd like to close out with a quote from Harriet Tubman. And she said, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and change the world. Dream big, my friends. Bigger than each obstacle that confronts you. Dream big, my friends. Bigger than every challenge. Dream big, my friends. Bigger than every disappointment. Dream big, my friends. Bigger than every failure. And when you dream big, nothing is impossible. Always knowing that the best is yet to come. So it is. Whew. Hey, folks, thank you so much. Those of you who are on Facebook, those of you on our conference line, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm going to ask you just really one big thing to stay with us, to really, we have put together a website, patreon.com/Success Mentorship Network. And all the things that you hear on these Saturday mornings, we are putting them and cataloging them and putting them in that website so that you as a patron, as a member, has access to all of these. Eventually, there are over 300 videos and audios and lessons from many of the things we've talked about over the past 5 or 6 years. So on the link below, Patreon, click on that link, join us, become a part of the team, and I guarantee you this, that will be the greatest step that you have taken to help you become the real you, the powerful you, the dream-making you, the you that you are destined to be. So it is.